Welcome to NEDA Talks. My name is Salvador Pina. I am the chair of the Education Committee for the Northeast Economic Development Association, and I'm here today with Andrew Kosa from Clark Patterson Lee. How you doing today, Andrew?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thanks.
Good.
Andrew, can you tell me a little bit about your organization's mission and vision? Because I know we're here today to talk about how engineers can support local development plans, and I'd be curious to know how you came to that spot.
Yeah, Clark Patterson Lee is a full-service architectural engineering firm. We specialize in serving municipalities, K through 12, universities, hospitals, transportation departments. And what we do as a firm is we really just try to improve quality of life for our clients. And, the key phrase is do more with less these days. So,
yeah, absolutely.
So we try to do that.
Good, good. Can you tell me a little bit about some of the services that Clark Patterson Lee provides?
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually a pretty long list. On the infrastructure side, obviously, planning, design, construction of some of our water, sewer, roadway projects, transportation projects. We also do a lot of environmental permitting. Some of the EIS, environmental impact statements, seeker process, the state environmental quality review. We do cost estimating, we do project implementation, we do phasing, and we do a lot of marketing aspects too. So,
well, that's certainly a boatload of stuff. So.
Yeah.
Now, earlier we chatted, and you talked a little bit about value engineering. And can you tell me a little bit about the difference between civil engineering and value engineering?
Yeah, absolutely. Civil engineering is kind of a broad term. It's used to describe the planning, the design, the construction of your infrastructure projects. When you get into value engineering, it's a little bit different, but along the similar track. For value engineering, we look at different materials, different equipment that may enhance the project, but also reduce the project cost. So we're constantly looking for other materials and other methods to reduce the overall cost to our client.
So can you give me an example of some, like a material that you might recommend to a client that you would consider a value material?
Yeah, a lot of times you have a water main, it's ductile iron. If they want to go to a PVC pipe, they may be able to save a lot of money that way. So that's just one example.
Okay. Now, help me understand how you as an engineering partner can help an economic, now I work actually for an economic development agency, so I'm really interested in this question, but how you as an engineering partner can help us understand and facilitate long-term planning for development sites?
From an engineering perspective, for us, it's understanding the site right away. So if you have a lot of site constraints, floodplains, wetland issues, setback issues, zoning issues. We want to know that all up front. So we almost do an inventory of, let's say, if you have 10 parks and a company comes and they want a 10,000 square foot building on 4 acres, we have that available and we've been through the process.
So it's kind of like prep work. You kind of like...
Yeah, and I think that's one of the areas we excel at and pride ourselves in is we do a lot of that prep work up front. So, move at the speed of business. So we constantly on-demand services.
Right. So if a municipality like me had some sites we wanted to develop, you'd help us think through all of the issues on that site.
Oh, yes. Yep.
And then we'd be prepared when a developer, for example, would look at it. We'd have all the important data and information.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
and we like to produce a one sheet that we can hand to a company that says, here's your water capacity, here's your sewer capacity, here's your proximity to major transportation. It really streamlines the process. It seems simple, but it goes a long way.
All right, so help me understand what the key might be to supporting the establishment of a viable development site.
It's infrastructure. If you're in close proximity to water, sewer, electric, gas, you're that much farther ahead. So we want to try to site projects that are obviously close to the infrastructure. And it comes back to the constraints again. We want to take a look at the layout of the land, the constraints you have, know your target industry. If you're targeting agricultural, and you know they need a lot of water, you try to site them there. It's really understanding the layout and the needs of the target business.
Okay, so we often have sites. We want to prep them. We want to begin to market them to businesses. How can you help us do that?
For us, we'd probably take a look at all the sites you have available. We would want to actually produce marketing level rendering and concept plans and show the company what their project may look like at that site. We can do a visual analysis where we take pictures, we'll actually lay their buildings on a 3D image. They get a sense and a feel of what their project will look like at your site. And again, it's just being responsive and acting quickly. And I think we can help on the marketing side, because some of those site visits are, we're coming tomorrow. Can you be there? And the answer is always yes. So we can produce those concept plans and estimates and give them phasing options, and it goes a long way for them. Great.
So we, just to shift gears a little bit, I know one of the challenges for municipalities has to do with local approvals. And so can you help me to understand some tips maybe for our audience about how we can create an environment that's friendly to local development?
You want to streamline your approval process. You want to be as transparent as possible. You want to outline your steps, make sure the company and business that's looking at your site has a clear understanding of what they need to do. We can also build some flexibility on the environmental side when you do the generic environmental impact analysis, because you'll often set targets or thresholds, and we want to make sure those thresholds are high enough so that if you have a potential business, you're not cutting yourself off before you even get started. And we can also help with kind of the liaison between their engineer, the town engineer, municipal engineer, the IDA. We can communicate with all the stakeholders and get them the information they need.
Fantastic. Well, I want to just thank you. Excellent job.
Yeah,
and for our audience, I want to thank you for joining us again for NEDA Talks, and look forward to seeing you in the future for more NEDA Talks. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.